Okay, hello, good morning, everyone. So, for today, I will be going to discuss this last topic for you to understand this one since we have not met on our last meeting before your midterm exam. Okay, so our last topic is all about the fringe benefit tax and the minimis benefit. Okay, so what is a fringe benefit tax and a de minimis benefits? Okay, so before the implementation of the fringe benefit tax in the Philippines, the government mainly taxed cash compensation received by employees. So this was easy to collect because employers automatically withheld income tax from salaries. So however, many employees, especially those in managerial or supervisory positions, were also receiving non-cash benefits such as company vehicles, housing provided by the employer, club memberships, expense accounts, household helpers paid by the company. So these benefits were often not taxed, which created inequality in taxation. So employees who receive compensation in cash paid income tax, while those receiving benefits in non-cash from sometimes avoided taxation. So because of this imbalance, the government introduced the fringe benefits tax. So in the Philippines, before na-introduce any CFBT or si fringe benefit tax, the only thing that is taxable is the cash paid sa mga employees, no? So, for example, an imo salary, an imo compensation, amo ra gud ang taxable, no? Pero there are instances na sa mga benefits, other benefits na ihatag sa izo ng izo employer, it is not taxable, especially to the supervisors or the managerial position. So mga tag-as na position, gusod mga dagko na benepisyo na may hatag sa ila. For example, company vehicles, mga housing provided by the employer, club memberships, expense accounts, saon sila, isahay, amo zaon ang ihatag sa mga dagko na mga posisyon or mga top executives. Pero sa zaon ng mga benefits, makadugang zaon sa ila laon talaman ka-wealthiness. Pero it is not taxable sa una before pa zaon. And it can create imbalance to taxation and unfair because sa zaon ng mga benefits, dili man sa taxable, so ang nakuha ra na tax sa ila is ang ila sweldo. So because of that reason, um nahimugna or ni-exist si fringe benefit tax. Okay. So fringe benefit tax, it improves fairness in taxation, ensures the non-cash benefits are taxed, broaden the tax base, and increase progressivity in the income tax system. Okay, so definition. What is a fringe benefit tax? It is a monetary burden imposed by the sovereignty on any good, service, or other benefit furnished or granted by an employer in cash or in kind in addition to basic salaries to an individual employee other than a rank and file employee. So the FBT is a final withholding tax on the grossed up monetary value of the fringe benefit granted by the employer to an employee who holds a managerial or supervisory position. So this tax is effective regardless of whether the employer is an individual or professional partnership or a corporation. So regardless of whether the corporation is taxable or not. So the fringe benefit tax, amoy ni siya ang monetary burden na taghatag, tag-impose na nato sovereign na nato government sa any good or service or any benefit na mahatag ni employer na i-grant ni employer, ma-cash man siya or ma-income, ka-in-kind na additional sa basic salary ng isa ka individual employee. Okay. So tax treatment of fringe benefits. Okay, so for the tax treatment of fringe benefits, so there are benefits no na ginahatag sa mga employee, dili sila subject to fringe benefit tax, but they are subject to compensation tax, no, or for any incentive tax, no, and there is also benefits which is considered de minimis benefits. So under current tax rules, however, items of fringe benefits in the strict sense are treated differently depending on their nature. Yeah. For example, fringe benefits that are fixed every payroll period are considered regular compensation. So let's say for example, ginahatagan ka ni employer ng transportation allowance, fixed transportation allowance, and it is included in your payroll. Every payroll nimo na-adjud siya. So, tas yung transportation allowance. So, it is not considered as taxable under fringe benefits, but it is considered as regular compensation. Another thing is fringe benefits that are variable and performance-based are considered supplemental compensation. So for example, kanang inyong commission, profit sharing, or overtime pay, no? It is not treated as fringe benefits tax. It is a fringe benefits, but it is not taxable under fringe benefits because it can be considered as supplemental compensation. The third one is the fringe benefits in the form of incentives are considered 13-month pay and other benefits. And then fringe benefits furnished for the employer's convenience or necessity are exempt from income tax. Okay, so other fringe benefits not included or classifiable as items of compensation income and which are not exempted under the law are treated as follow. So for rank and file employees included as other benefits under 13-month pay and other benefits, and for managerial and supervisory employees excluded in compensation income and are subjected to final fringe benefits tax. So the scope of the fringe benefits tax. So what are the things that are considered as taxable under the fringe benefit tax? So the fringe benefits tax covers only the taxable fringe benefits of managerial or supervisory employees. So for purposes of the fringe benefits, RR 398 clarifies that taxable fringe benefits exclude those items considered as compensation income. So meaning kadtong mga transportation allowance na included in your every payroll, it is considered as compensation income. So therefore, it is not subject to fringe benefits tax. Hence, an excellent understanding on the items of compensation income is extremely important in highlighting the bounds between compensation income and the fringe benefits subject to fringe benefits tax. So it is very, very important to identify what is a compensation income and what is a fringe benefits because you will identify hain sa dapit na taxable if adto ba siya under sa income tax or under ba siya kan FBT. So the general categories of fringe benefits subject to final tax. The first one is the management perquisite benefits. So it is the management perquisite benefits, meaning it is the benefits given to the managers, supervisors, top executives. So kung anything na ginahatag ng company sa mga manager, supervisor, it is considered as the fringe benefits subject to final tax. Employee personal expenses shouldered by the employer. So, kung na ay mga personal expenses si employee pero ang nag-shoulder is si employer, nagbayad si employer ng mga expenses, it is under the FBT. And then the taxable de minimis benefits. So in taxable de minimis benefits, there are benefits no na naay limitation. So if mo exit na sa limitation, meaning it is considered as an FBT. Then benefits not included in the de minimis list. Okay, so the following benefits are exempt from the fringe benefit tax. So there are benefits no na ginahatag ni employer kang employee nga dili kung taxable under kan FBT. No, for example, the fringe benefits, which are authorized and exempted from the tax under special laws. So, for example, katong mga contribution sa SSS, PhilHealth ni employee, it is not taxable in fringe benefit. What are pa? Benefits required by the nature of or necessary to the trade, business, or position on the employer. So in this are the benefits given because they are necessary for the employer's operation. So for example, no, ginatagaan ang isa ka employee ng tools na gamiton niya for its work. It is a benefit, but it is not taxable. No? Business travel expenses. So, nag-travel ang isa ka employee for the business, for a business purpose. So, meaning it is not taxable under FBT. Um, benefit given for the convenience or advantage of the employer rather. So housing provided, so a caretaker inside the workplace. Fourth is the contributions of the employer for the benefit of the employee to retirement, insurance, and hospitalization benefit plans. So for example, an health insurance, retirement plans, so hospitalization plans nga gina-contribute ni employer para sa benefit kan employee, it is not taxable. And then benefit given to rank and file employees whether or not granted under a collective bargaining agreement. And then um so the benefits given to rank and file employees, it is taxable, but it is not under FBT. It is under the regular compensation income. And then the taxable fringe benefits, number 7, the de minimis benefits within their legal limits. So as I was saying, there are benefits given to the employee who has limitation. So for example, ma-free ra ini siya, ma-benefit ini siya na not taxable if suyod siya sa limit. No? Pero pag musobra na siya sa limit, it is taxable na under the FBT. Okay, so the fringe benefit tax. So the fringe benefit tax, again, it is a final tax imposed on the fringe benefit furnished, granted, or paid by the employer to the employee, except the rank and file employees, whether such employer is an individual, a professional partnership, or a corporation. So regardless of whether the corporation is taxable or not, or the government and its instrumentalities. For the purpose of the fringe benefit tax, fringe benefit means any good, service, or other benefits furnished or granted in cash or in kind by the employer to individual employees, except for rank and file employees, such as but not limited to the following. So there are the kinds na fringe benefit tax given to the employees who are granted this benefit na bayran ni employer para kan employee. So first one is the housing benefits, expense account, vehicles of any kind, household personnel such as maid, driver, or others, interest for the difference between the market's rate and the actual interest granted, membership fees, dues, and other expenses borne by the employer for the employee in social and athletic clubs or other similar organizations, expenses for foreign travel, vacation expenses or holiday expenses, educational assistance to the employee or his dependents, and life or health and other non-life insurance premiums or similar accounts of what that law allows. So the insurance premiums exceeding legal limits. So these are the things or the benefits nga mahatag kan employee under the fringe benefit tax. Okay, so the characteristics of the fringe benefit tax. So the FBT has the following key features. The first one is it is a final tax, meaning there is no further income tax is required. So meaning si fringe benefit dili siya kon under kan income tax but rather it is under to fringe benefit tax. And then it applies only to managerial or supervisory employees. And then it is paid by the employer, computed using the gross up method, and filed and paid quarterly. So what is the procedure in computing the FBT? So determine the monetary value. So you have to determine pila may gasud kantidad ng benefit na taghatag sa imo. What is its sole value? What is its monetary value kung i-convert nimo to benefit na ihatag sa imo? Okay, so the second one is you have to determine the gross up rate and fringe benefit tax rate applicable for the taxpayer. So in every taxpayer, so diba, you identify the individual taxpayer, the non-resident alien taxpayer, kana sila. So naay ila own gross up rate. So after determining the under determining the monetary value, you have to identify the type of taxpayer and its gross up rate. And then after that one, after determining the monetary value and at the same time the gross up rate and fringe benefit tax, you have to divide the gross up monetary value, dividing the monetary value by the gross up rate. And then determine the fringe benefit tax by multiplying the fringe benefit tax rate to the grossed up monetary value. Okay, so again, these are the classifications of taxpayers and the gross monetary value factor. And the gross monetary value factor to every type of taxpayer, and then the fringe benefit tax rate in every type of taxpayer. So for of course, ang gross monetary value factor in the citizen, a resident alien, non-resident alien, engaged in trade business is 65%, and the non-resident alien not engaged in trade and business is 75%. And then for the FBT rate, for the resident alien, non-resident alien engaged to trade and business is 35%, and then to non-resident alien not engaged to trade and business is 25%. So this is an example. No? So determine the gross up monetary value and the fringe benefit tax of the following for 2018 taxable year. So for example, 39,000 grocery allowance for the personal consumption of an executive of ABC Corporation. So of course, in monetary value, the monetary value is the 39,000 pesos. And then we assume that it is a citizen, and then the gross monetary value factor is 65%. So we divide 39,000 to 65%, and then the gross up monetary value is 60,000. And then you have to multiply by the FBT rate, which is, we assume that it is a citizen, then it is a 35%, then 60,000 times 35% is 21,000. So that is your fringe benefit tax. Okay. So what is a de minimis benefits? So when we say de minimis benefits, these are the small benefits given by employers that are exempt from tax if they do not exceed specific limits. So ang de minimis benefits, amoy ni siya ang mga small benefits na ihatag ng employer sa imo. Hatag ng employer sa isa ka empleyado which has a limitation. So kung mo-exceed siya ng limitation, so kung mo-exceed siya ng limitation, it is taxable na. Amo? So, for example, the monetized unused vacation leave. So kung saan mga waya magamit na vacation leave ng isa ka empleyado, pwede saan nila monetize. And then pwede saan nila makwarta. Amo? So that is not taxable, pero pag mo exceed, so for example, JGAP is a limit, no? So kung 10 days na vacation leave siya, i-monetized, it is not taxable. Pero kung mo-exceed, it is taxable na under the FBT. The second one is the medical cash allowance. So, a medical cash allowance, no? 1,500 per semester. So, kung mo sobra, mo exceed ng 1,500, mo 1,600 sa siza, ang sobra na 100, it is taxable. The rice subsidy, no? So, rice subsidy up to 2,000 per month. The fourth one is the uniform allowance. So, uniform allowance is up to 6,000 per year. So, kung ma-exceed ng 6,000, that is taxable. Medical assistance up to 10,000 annually. So, if mo-exceed dyan ng 10,000, that is taxable na. Pero kung below 10,000, that is not taxable. Laundry allowance, not exceeding 300 per month. So, kung mo exceed sila ng 300 pesos sa isa ka buwan, meaning it is taxable. And then, for the achievement awards, so up to 10,000 per year. So, kung mo exceed sila ng 10,000, so mo exceed sila ng 10,000 sa isa ka tuig, that is taxable. No, and so this is an example of the de minimis limits. So depende ni sa isa company sa isa limitation. So there is an actual, there is a limit, and then there is an excess. Okay, so let us proceed to the dealings in property. So dealing in property, it refers to the transactions involving the sale, exchange, transfer, or disposition of property that may result in taxable income or gains. So under the National Internal Revenue Code of the Philippines, gains derived from property transactions may be subject to income tax, capital gains tax, or applicable taxes depending on the type of property and the nature of transaction. So property dealings generally occur when a person sells property, exchanges property, transfers ownership, disposes of property for profit. And then if the transaction results in gain or income, it may be subject to taxation. So in dealings in property, this is one of the another important taxation concept, no? In taxation. So this refers to the transaction involving the sale, exchange, transfer, or disposal of property that may result in income or gain. So in dealings in property, amoy na ang transaction na involve nga magbalik sa ako ng lupa, makig-exchange ka ng lupa, makig-transfer ka ng lupa, or any property, or disposal of property, lupa, assets, equipments, no? Kung result siya as income or gain sa imo, meaning it is taxable. So for example, you are selling your land, you are exchanging your assets from another person, transferring ownership, and disposing of property for profit. So if the transaction results in profit or gain, it may be subject to tax under the NIRC. So there are types of property transactions subject to tax. So the first one is the sale of real property. So the sale of land or buildings located in the Philippines. Second one is the sale of personal property. So the sale of movable property such as vehicles, equipment, or shares of stock. Third one is exchange of property. So you are trading your land from another property. So swapping in siya. And then transfer of property. For example, nag-donate ka, naka-inherit ka, and then assignment of property rights. So it is an example of transfer of property. The fifth one is the foreclosure or repossession. So of course, one of its example is when lenders recover property due to unpaid loans. So for example, kanang mangutang ka tapos nag-present ka ng collateral, and then if waya nimo na bayaran, adton imo collateral na tag-present sa imo tag-utangan, pwede adto embargohon nan imo nan isa ka bangko na imo tag-utangan. That is a foreclosure or repossession. No, si lender kuhaon adto property na imo tag collateral para mabayaran ato imo loans na waya ka bayari. And then, the lease with option to buy. So, if ownership eventually transfer, taxation may apply. So, in lease with option to buy, amazon tagpaplitihan, kibalay ng mga lupa or ng mga properties, no, na there can be an option na imo siya i-buy na property or na lupa. Okay, so these transactions may trigger capital gains tax, ordinary income tax, or documentary stamp tax. Okay, so what do you mean by capital gains versus ordinary gains versus other property income or other income? So capital gains arise from the sale of capital assets. Capital assets are properties not used in business operation. So for example, these are the assets, no? Asset na isa ka tawo, isa ka individual na dili siya kung gamit for any business or trade purposes. Meaning, iso ra ini siya personal belongings. For example, personal land, personal house, personal investment. So kung iso ini siya ibalik za, no? Amo sonjay taglaong na capital gains. So in the Philippines, the tax treatment in capital gains, the sale of real property classified as capital asset is subject to 6% capital gains tax. The second one is the ordinary gains. So ordinary gains come from the sale of ordinary assets. So these are the properties used in business operations. So in ordinary gains, amoy ni ang pagbaligza nimo ng imo mga ordinary assets na tagamit sa imo business, paggamit sa pag-operate ng imo business. For example, an inventory nimo kung imo sa ibaligza, equipment used in business, land used in business, and property held primarily for sale. So these are considered as ordinary assets, and you can have an ordinary gain. So the tax treatment for this one is it is subject to regular income tax. And then the last one is the other income from property. So property may also generate income through its use, not necessarily through its sale. So there are properties, no? There are properties na pwede nimo matag-iza, na pwede nimo siya magamit, then maka-income ka. Na dili ka mo last resort sa pagbaligza. So for example, the rental income. No, pag magparenta ka, di ba, imo property is sa imo raman, nagpabuyos na ka kibali nagparent ka. So naka-income ka dito. Lease payments, nagparenta ka ng lupa, no, para sa isa ka business. So these are taxed through an ordinary income.